There is a silent, almost invisible moment that happens just before a major turning point in someone's life. It's not announced with fireworks, nor does it arrive with clear signs. On the contrary, it comes disguised as exhaustion, confusion, loneliness. You look around and wonder if you've lost your way. But the truth is that you're closer than ever. What many call the end of the road is actually the threshold of a new identity. It's in this unknown territory that the old versions of yourself begin to collapse. And yes, it hurts, because change hurts. Growing up is frightening, but more dangerous than facing this emptiness is remaining imprisoned in a life that no longer represents you. This material is not a cheap motivation manual. It is a mirror, a calling, a warning to those who feel that something inside is screaming for change, but still don't know what to do about it. If you feel that the world that once surrounded you no longer nourishes you, you are in the right place. Because only those who are about to be reborn feel this discomfort. Each of the signs you will see here is not a coincidence. They are symptoms of an inner rupture, of an inevitable transition. You can try to ignore it. You can pretend everything is fine, but the truth always returns, and with it, the invitation to transform. And transforming requires courage. It requires discipline. It requires renunciation. What you are feeling is not weakness. It is preparation. Everything is falling apart not because it's over, but because it's beginning the right way. And when the old world tries to pull you back, remember, you were born for much more than just surviving. You were born to break through. Before we continue, follow the channel and turn on notifications. Sign 1. The silence that isolates you. Suddenly, being with people no longer fills you like it used to. You feel alone, even surrounded by voices. It's not sadness. It's as if something inside you is preparing itself, withdrawing. A kind of pause that no one understands, but that you feel deeply. You start avoiding explanations, not because you don't know what to say, but because you feel that no one would understand. And that's okay. You're not losing connection with the world. You're gaining connection with yourself. This solitude, which seems like punishment, is actually an invitation. A space where distractions quiet down, and for the first time in a long while, you can hear your own truth. Without interference, without noise, you begin to better filter the people with whom you share your energy. People who once seemed essential now exhaust you. Shallow conversations lose their meaning. The presence of others feels heavy when there's no depth. It's in this isolation that your essence begins to reveal itself. The masks fall. Social roles become too small. You realize you no longer need to fit in. You just need to allow yourself to be. It's uncomfortable. Yes, it's frightening, but it also brings a strange peace, a relief. As if finally you were doing something true for yourself. No audience, no performance. If this silence is surrounding you, don't run from it. Embrace it. It's preparing the ground for your rebirth. Sign 2. Nothing hides the discomfort anymore. There comes a point when you can no longer pretend. Not in conversations, not in relationships, not with yourself. What once went unnoticed now bothers you, weighs you down, makes you want to run away, even if you don't know where to go. It's as if everything that isn't true starts screaming inside you. A silent scream, but impossible to ignore. And the more you try to force the old, the faster it falls apart. You start realizing that many of the paths you walked were built upon what others expected from you, not what you truly wanted. And that hurts, because accepting this truth takes courage. This is where the urge to stop arises, to restart, to let go of what feels safe but no longer serves you. This isn't weakness, it's awakening. It's your soul asking for space to live in truth. You feel like you're betraying someone, But deep down you know, betraying yourself hurts more. You start refusing invitations, opinions, rules. Not out of rebellion, but out of clarity. You can't keep living on autopilot. This discomfort that keeps you awake at night isn't a sign something's wrong. It's a sign you're changing. And change sometimes comes disguised as unease. It's hard to explain to others. Many won't understand. They'll say you're strange, confused, lost. But you're not lost. You just refuse to lose yourself inside a life that isn't yours anymore. Follow that discomfort. It's a compass. It's pointing you in the right direction. Sign 3. The old version of you begins to fall apart. At some point, you realize the life you built no longer represents you. The habits, the commitments, the plans, everything feels too small for the person you're becoming. It's like wearing clothes that don't fit, only from the inside. You start looking at yourself with more honesty, and what you see might scare you. There's exhaustion, there's doubt, but there's also a flame that won't go out. Something in you wants to grow, to break free, to expand beyond the bubble. The excuses you once used no longer work. The lies you told yourself sound hollow. You already know what needs to be left behind. The hard part is accepting that not everything will come with you into this new phase. Other people's opinions lose weight. You start making bolder decisions. You cut ties, change directions. And yes, people notice. Some withdraw, others criticize. But for the first time, that doesn't paralyze you. Real change doesn't happen in a grand moment. It begins in silence, in discomfort, in the decision to accept nothing less than your truth. And that's exactly what's happening to you. The pain you feel isn't the pain of an ending. It's transformation. It's the process of being born again. Without guarantees, without applause, just with the certainty that there's no turning back. You're not losing yourself. You're finding yourself. And every time discomfort strikes, remember, it's just the shell cracking, so your true self can emerge. Sign 4. The old version of you starts to suffocate you. One day you wake up and something feels off. It's not the environment, not the people. It's you. The way you used to think, speak, behave, starts feeling forced, as if you were performing your own life. What once fit now feels tight. Your old self no longer fits inside you. You notice it in small details. The jokes that aren't funny anymore. The places that bore you. The conversations that seem like reruns. And most unsettling of all, you start getting irritated by what you used to tolerate easily. It's as if the you of yesterday is fighting to survive, but the you of tomorrow is already knocking at the door, and the two can't coexist. Something has to leave. Something has to die. You try to hold on, because the old is comfortable, familiar, predictable. But the more you cling, the more you feel like you're betraying who you really are. The discomfort becomes physical. You can't breathe. Nothing makes sense. The craziest part is that to the outside world you look the same. But inside, everything has changed. And that creates friction. A tension between what you show and what you feel. A near desperate urge to throw everything away and start over. But starting over is scary. Starting over means losing control. And losing control requires trust. That's why you feel so tired, so confused. Because you're trying to hold on to two versions at once. At this moment, the question that haunts you most is, am I going crazy? Number, you're waking up. Growth isn't pretty in the beginning. It's lonely, messy, uncomfortable, but necessary. This inner deconstruction is the preparation for the new. And the new needs space. That's why the old is collapsing. Don't resist. Feel, observe, trust. Your next version is being born in the middle of this chaos. Sign 5. You start saying no without guilt. Before you said yes to everything. You said yes even when you wanted to say no. You fit yourself where you didn't belong. You adapted to please. You made an effort not to disappoint. Today, that exhausts you. The price of self-neglect has become too high. You've begun to understand that saying no is also an act of love, especially for yourself. Saying no no longer feels rude. It feels like freedom. You start protecting your energy as if guarding something sacred. You begin to prioritize your peace. To distance yourself from those who don't add to your life. To stop forcing yourself to be where you don't wish to be. At first, you try to explain, to justify. But soon you realize you don't have to. Those who understand, stay. Those who get offended may have never truly seen you, and that's okay. Not everyone goes with you to the next chapter. Saying no is scary, because for so long you believed you needed others' approval to feel accepted. But now you're discovering that true acceptance comes from within, and that changes everything. People will notice. Some will say you've become distant. Others will accuse you of being selfish. But deep down, you'll feel a sense of lightness, as if you were finally breathing with your own lungs. You stop trying to prove yourself. Stop chasing belonging. You begin choosing more consciously where to place your attention, your time, your heart. And that is rare. That is strength. Every no you learn to say is a yes you give to yourself. A yes to your mental health, your authenticity, your true journey. It's not about rejecting the world. It's about no longer rejecting yourself just to be accepted. And when that happens, something inside you blooms. For the first time, you choose yourself. Sign 6. Criticism no longer affects you as it once did before. A single offhand comment could throw you off balance. A subtle criticism was enough to make you question your entire life. Not anymore. Now you listen, analyze, and move on. Without swallowing it. Without absorbing it. Without despair. You are learning to stand firm even when the world tries to bend you. You've understood that not every criticism deserves a response. Not every attack is personal. Often what people say about you says more about them than about who you truly are. This detachment doesn't make you cold. It makes you centered. You no longer allow yourself to be swayed by the judgment of those who've never walked in your shoes. And that unsettles many people, because free souls scare those who live in cages. You begin to realize that change makes people uncomfortable. Growth frightens them. And awakening is something very few understand. When you transform, you shatter expectations. And those who expected you to remain predictable will react with resistance. They'll call you arrogant, distant, radical. But what no one sees is that behind this firm posture, there's someone simply tired of living for appearances. Someone who has decided to live truthfully. Criticism, which once hurt, now teaches you. You learn to distinguish what comes from a place of love and what comes from a place of fear, envy, or ignorance. That gives you power. It gives you peace. You stop trying to prove who you are. You simply are. And that simply is everything. The energy you once spent trying to please is now invested in building, evolving, and being. It's not that you don't care. It's that now you know what truly matters. And in this new place, other people's opinions no longer determine your steps. The one who leads your path is you. Sign 7. Negative emotions no longer control you. You still feel anger, fear, and sadness. But now, they no longer dictate your actions. They come, move through you, and pass. Before they ruled you. Now you observe them. You've learned that emotion isn't an enemy. It's a signal. And those who understand the signal don't get lost in the storm. Anger shows up, but you don't explode. Fear arises, but it doesn't paralyze you. Sadness hits, but you don't drown in it. You breathe, feel, and continue. That doesn't make you cold. It makes you conscious. Those who feel clearly live lightly. You've stopped running from yourself. Before, any discomfort would push you toward distractions. Now, you face it. You've realized that running doesn't solve anything. Delaying only prolongs the pain, and facing it is the only way through. This change doesn't happen overnight. It's a process. It's practice. But you've been evolving. You've been gaining a kind of strength that isn't loud, but steady. Not aggressive, but unshakable. The greatest victory is this: keeping your peace even when everything tries to take it away. And that peace doesn't come from outside. It's born within. It's the fruit of the inner battles you've decided not to lose anymore. People notice. They say you're different, calmer, more centered. They may think you've simply matured. But you know, it's the result of pain faced, truths swallowed, and cycles closed with courage. Today you understand that reacting means giving up control. And you're tired of being a hostage to what you feel. Not because you don't feel, but because now you choose how to respond. And that choice is freedom. The pain doesn't vanish, but now it teaches. The fear doesn't disappear, but now it reveals. The anger doesn't die, but now it shows you what matters. And you move forward, because whoever masters their emotions masters their destiny. Sign 8. The inner chaos starts to make sense. For a long time, you lived confused, full of thoughts, doubts, inner voices contradicting one another. It was like having a storm inside you. Nothing made sense. Everything seemed out of place. And that mess left you exhausted, lost, directionless. But now something is changing. The chaos is still there, but it feels different. It doesn't hurt as much. You're beginning to understand that it has a purpose. That it didn't come to destroy you. It came to reorganize you. The pieces are shifting. The old certainties are collapsing. And in the middle of this upheaval, you're finding yourself again. It's strange, but also liberating. You start to notice patterns. You start to see what's being removed to make room for something new. You feel that something big is coming. And for the first time, the chaos doesn't scare you. It prepares you. Because now you understand. Every internal collapse precedes a new structure. Every confusion precedes clarity. Before, you wanted to escape the mess. Now, you dive into it with courage. Because you know that the deeper you go, the more truth you'll find. There is no superficial healing. There is no rebirth without deconstruction. Chaos has stopped being an enemy. It has become a sign that your soul is in motion. That the old is being stripped away to make space for what's real. For what belongs to you. For what truly makes sense. You stop needing to have all the answers. You start trusting the process. You realize you don't need to understand everything. You just need to keep feeling, choosing, walking, one step at a time. This mess you feel isn't weakness. It's life reorganizing itself. Don't fight it. Allow yourself to go through it. The new you is being sculpted right in the middle of this confusion. Sign 9. A silent fire begins to grow inside you. Even with everything falling apart, you feel something different. An inner strength that's hard to explain. It's not excitement. It's not motivation. It's something deeper, almost silent. Like a calm fire burning inside you. A calling that whispers, keep going. It's not over yet. You don't know where this strength comes from, but it appears when you need it most. When everything seems to push you backward, it whispers, go. And you go. Tired, but steady. Afraid, but present. This fire makes no noise. It doesn't need witnesses. It grows in silence, in solitude, in the hard decisions. It's born from what you've lost, from what you've overcome, from what you've faced in silence. You stop seeking external pushes. You discover that the greatest strength is within, and that discipline, even without motivation, builds far more than momentary enthusiasm ever could. It's no longer about feeling inspired. It's about being committed. It's about continuing even when no one's watching, even when there are no applause, even when it's just you and the path. This fire doesn't consume you. It fuels you. It burns away fear, doubt, guilt. It warms your courage, illuminates your choices, and reminds you who you're becoming. Those who see you from the outside might not notice, but inside you know something great is being built, something strong, something unshakable. And when it's ready, the world will see. But you've already felt it. This fire is the sign that you're ready. Not ready to conquer the world, but ready to not give up on yourself. And that changes everything, because those who don't give up on themselves have already won half the battle. This is the true rebirth. Silent, constant, unstoppable. Change is not comfortable. It is challenging, confusing, often lonely. But for some people, there simply is no other choice. These are the ones who, even without fully understanding why, feel deep inside that they need to break free. Something shouts, something pushes, and ignoring it is no longer possible. These people are the chosen ones, not because they are better, but because they can no longer stand living on autopilot. While many live complacently, surviving in repetitive cycles, the chosen feel a constant unease, an urgency for truth, a void that no distraction can fill. They begin to question, to observe with different eyes, to realize that the world around them no longer makes sense. That's where the process of change begins, in the discomfort of those who can no longer accept staying where they are. Change, for the chosen ones, is not about making life look better. It's about making it real. It means letting go of masks, shallow relationships, and suffocating routines. It's an internal movement that demands courage to face everything that has been ignored for far too long. Every step is a renunciation. Every decision is a reconstruction. And not always is there support along the way. The price of transformation is high. It requires stripping yourself of old certainties, facing hidden fears, accepting loss in order to finally gain. And that's frightening. It makes you want to turn back. But once you've awakened, you can't go back to sleep. Once you see your truth, everything that isn't real begins to deeply disturb you. And ignoring that becomes impossible. This change is more than a phase. It is a calling, a process that separates those who are ready from those who still prefer the illusion. The chosen feel this calling intensely. They don't know how to explain it, but they know they must keep going. The soul will no longer tolerate being silenced, and the pain of changing becomes smaller than the pain of staying where you don't belong. If you've made it this far, you are no longer the same person who began this reading. Something inside you has been touched, awakened, maybe even exposed. And as uncomfortable as that may be, it's proof that the change has already begun. It doesn't matter if things still seem confusing. The inner movement has already been set in motion. True transformation doesn't come with set dates or guaranteed promises. It comes silently on the days when you almost give up but choose to keep going. In the moments when everything seems to be falling apart, yet inside, something aligns. It happens when you stop waiting for external signs and start listening to what your heart has long been whispering. Change doesn't require you to be perfect. It only requires you to be honest, to recognize what no longer makes sense, even if you don't yet know how to fix it. To choose every day, not to abandon yourself. to respect the timing of your own process, even when it seems slow or invisible to others. You don't need to have all the answers right now, nor do you need to be strong all the time. What matters is the decision not to go back to the old just because the new still frightens you. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's moving forward with it beside you. And if you are feeling that fear, it's a sign that you're close to something big. You don't need to rush. You just need to continue. When everything feels chaotic, return inward. When fear visits you, remember who you've already become. And when doubt appears, trust. Chaos is also part of the path. Pain also teaches. Confusion also prepares. Nothing is happening by accident. Many will stop halfway, but not you, because the calling that burns inside you is stronger than the fear. And no matter how much you stumble, how tired you become, you already understand. There's no going back to what no longer represents you. Now it's time to move forward. One step, one silence, one decision at a time. Remember, you're not breaking. You're breaking through. You're leaving behind what limited you, what diminished you, what kept you from being whole. And when this process ends, or rather, when it finally makes sense, you'll look back and realize every step, every tear, every silence was worth it. Now it's on you. The change has already begun. Keep going.